Flight attendant throws black girl's bag in the trash. Her call ends their careers. Before we dive in this story, hit the comments and tell us your city or country. Let's see how far this story reaches. If you like the video, please subscribe. Teenage black girl boarded her first solo flight full of excitement and nerves. She clutched a small, worn backpack, nothing expensive but priceless to her. Minutes later, a flight attendant sneered, snatched the bag, and threw it into a trash bin, calling it unsanitary. The girl sat in shock, blinking back tears. No apology. No explanation. But what that attendant didn't know? The girl's mother was on a direct line, with someone who could ground careers in seconds. By the time the flight landed, everything had changed. Watch to the end. This justice lands hard. Year-old Amira was flying across the country to visit her grandparents, her first time alone on a plane. She had spent weeks preparing, picking the perfect outfit, and packing a small floral backpack filled with gifts, letters, and drawings she'd made for her grandparents. The airport was overwhelming, but she followed her mom's instructions to the letter. On board, she smiled politely. At the crew, tucked her backpack carefully under the seat and prepared for takeoff. But moments later, a white flight attendant approached with a look of disgust. "That's not regulation," she snapped, pointing to Amira's bag. Before Amira could respond, the woman grabbed it, inspected it like it was garbage, and without warning, walked to the back of the plane and tossed it into the trash. Other passengers looked away. Amira sat frozen, holding back tears. But what the flight attendant didn't know? Amira's mom wasn't just any passenger. She was a federal aviation attorney. Amira texted her mom through Wi-Fi, barely able to type through her shaking fingers. "Mom, she threw my bag in the trash. She said it was dirty." Her mother, Rachel, was in the middle of a conference in D.C. when the message came in. She froze. The airline name is lit up in the message preview, the flight number, the exact route. Rachel's blood boiled, but she stayed calm. She didn't call customer service. She called the chair of the Civil Aviation Board. And she wasn't asking for a refund. She was filing an emergency passenger complaint. Meanwhile, Amira watched as the same flight attendant passed other passengers, some with oversized bags on laps, and bags clearly against policy, none of whom were touched. Only hers, the young black girl's, had been trashed. Rachel's voice, calm and commanding, traveled through multiple departments in minutes. She requested an immediate inspection of in-flight footage and a formal report from the flight crew before landing. As the plane descended, the captain received an alert to report directly to the gate manager. The flight attendant who threw the bag? She was pulled aside before the cabin doors even opened. Amira stepped off the plane to find airline officials waiting, not for her, but for the woman who humiliated her. In front of passengers and crew, the flight attendant was informed. She was being suspended pending investigation. Amira's bag, still sealed in a trash liner, was returned to her by a manager with trembling hands. But it wasn't about the bag anymore. Amira's mother had arrived at the terminal, flanked by 2 compliance officers. "You threw away dignity like it was trash," she said coldly to the crew. "Now you'll watch your career go with it." The captain tried to intervene until he was shown the footage of what happened. By the end of the day, both the flight attendant and her supervising purser were placed on indefinite leave. The airline issued a public apology, but Rachel and Amira knew the damage had already been done, and justice had only just begun. Rachel didn't sue for money. She sued for policy change and won. Within months, the airline overhauled its in-flight training and implemented mandatory anti-bias workshops. Amira's story made headlines nationwide, sparking discussions about subtle racism in the air travel industry. Amira, once quiet and reserved, was later invited to speak at youth leadership conferences about dignity, identity, and standing tall, even when you're sitting 30,000 feet in the air. The flight attendant? Her license was revoked after additional complaints surfaced. Because when you throw away someone's humanity, don't be surprised when your power gets grounded. Have you ever faced disrespect while flying, or seen someone else mistreated? Drop your story and location in the comments.